Hi, everybody. So today we're going to read our story again, Amazing Grace. But before we do, I want to revisit some of the things that we learned from our first reading, okay? First of all, let's talk about the characters in our story real quickly. We know that there's Grace. She's the most important character. Amazing Grace. The title is about Grace. We know that Grace's mommy is in our story. And we know that Grace's Nana is in our story, right? Okay, friends, couple other things I want to talk about. We learned some new words because we know when we read stories, we can learn lots of new words. It helps us to grow our vocabulary. So the 3 words that we learned from our first reading, we learned about amazing, and amazing was something surprising or wonderful. Remember, in our story, we said Grace was amazing, surprising, and wonderful. We learned about auditions. Remember, an audition is when you're trying out for a role or a job as a singer or dancer, maybe a musician. And then we learned about adventure. An adventure is an exciting experience. An exciting experience. We know that Grace had many adventures in our story. So we're going to read our story again. And this time, there are some more new words we're going to talk about when we're finished. So let's listen closely. And if you hear a word that you're not sure about, put it right up here. And let's see if it's one of the words that Miss Julie is going to talk to you about after we hear our story again. All right? So enjoy Amazing Grace. I'll see you again soon. Amazing Grace, written by Mary Hoffman, pictures by Caroline Bench. Grace was a girl who loved stories. She didn't mind if they were read to her, or told to her, or even made up in her own head. She didn't care if they were from books, or movies, or even out of Nana's long memory. Grace just loved all stories. And after she'd heard them, and even sometimes when they were still going on, Grace would act them out. And she always gave herself the most exciting part. Grace went to battle as Joan of Arc and wove a wicked web as Anansi the spider. She hid inside the wooden horse at the gates of Troy and sailed the 7 seas with a wooden leg and a parrot. Most of all, Grace loved to act out adventure stories and fairy tales. When there was no one else around, why, she played all the parts herself. She set out to seek her fortune with no companion but her trusty cat, and found a city with streets paved in gold. Sometimes she would get Mommy and Nana to join in when they weren't too busy. Then she was Dr. Grace, and their lives were in her hands. One day, Grace's teacher said they were going to do a play, Peter Pan. Ooh-wee, Grace knew right away who she wanted to be. When she raised her hand, Raj said, you can't be Peter. That's a boy's name. Grace didn't listen. She kept her hand up. You can't be Peter Pan, Natalie said. He doesn't have your skin color. But Grace kept her hand up. All right, the teacher said, I can see that lots of you want to be Peter Pan, so we will have auditions next week to choose parts. She gave them all words to learn. When Grace got home, she seemed sad. Mommy said, What's the matter? Raj said I could not be Peter Pan because I'm a girl. Aha, that just shows you how much Roz knows. A girl can be Peter Pan if she wants to, Mommy said. Grace cheered up, but then later she remembered something else. Natalie says I can't be Peter Pan because my skin color is different, she said. Ooh, Mommy did not look happy. She looked quite angry. But before she could speak, Nana said, It seems like Natalie is another one who just doesn't know. You can be anything you want, Grace, if you put your mind to it. On Saturday, Nana told Grace they were going out. In the afternoon, they caught a bus and a train into the city. Nana took Grace to a grand theater. The sign outside read Rosalie Wilkins in Romeo and Juliet with sparkling lights. Are we going to the ballet, Nana? Asked Grace. We are, honey, but first I want you to look at this picture. Grace looked up and saw a beautiful young ballerina in a tutu. Above the dancer it said, Stunning New Juliet. That one there is little Rosalie from back home in Trinidad, said Nana. Her granny and me, we grew up together on the island. She's always asking me, do I want tickets to see her Rosalie dance? So this time I said yes. After the ballet, Grace played the part of Juliet, dancing around her room in her imaginary tutu. I can be anything I want, she thought. On Monday, the class met for auditions to choose who was the best for each part. When it was Grace's turn to be Peter, she knew exactly what to do and all the words to say. She'd been Peter Pan all weekend. She took a deep breath and imagined herself flying. When it was time to vote, the class chose Raj to be Captain Hook and Natalie to be Wendy. There was no doubt at all who would be the very best Peter Pan. Everyone voted for Grace. You were wonderful, whispered Natalie. The play was a big success, and Grace was an amazing Peter Pan. After it was all over, she said, I feel like I could fly all the way home. Mommy laughed. You probably could. And Nana said yes. If little Grace puts her mind to it, she can do anything she wants. Hi again, Aqua Friends. I hope you enjoyed listening to Amazing Grace again. I'm really curious to know if you found some new or novel words that you weren't sure about. And maybe they're some of the same words that Miss Julie's going to talk to you about right now. So we know that Grace and her mommy and her Nana are the main characters. Let's talk real quickly about our story, though. What happened first? So first in our story, we learned that Grace really loves stories, right? And she doesn't just like to hear stories, she likes to pretend she's part of the stories, right? She pretends all kinds of adventures. Then at school, she learned that they were going to have a play called Peter Pan, and that made her super excited because she really wanted to be Peter Pan. Okay, so that's kind of what happens in our story. Now, we know at the end, the best part ever happens, and that's Grace gets to be Peter Pan. Let's talk about some of the words, though, that I was wondering if you knew about today. Okay, so the first word that I want to talk about today is memory. What's a memory? Anybody know? So a memory can be something that you remember, or the ability to remember something. It can be a special event or something that was really important to you. It could be a special friend or a family member. It could be something that you're proud of. Maybe it's something that scared you or made you sad, but it's something that stays up here in your brain. It's the ability to remember something, or it's the something that you remember. So I'm going to put these are our words, right up here. And I tried to find a picture of a memory. That's kind of tricky to do because everybody's memories are different. So this is just a picture of a brain, and it says, don't forget. Because if you remember, if you have a memory, you don't forget. All right, so we'll put that there, okay? Memory. Maybe you already knew that word. Maybe you weren't quite sure. Now you are. Do you have memories? Special memories, memories that make you happy, memories that might make you feel sad? We all do. And they all work together to make us who we are. Okay, the next one I want to talk to you about, ooh, this is a fun one. Might be one that you know, but I just want to make sure. It's exploring, friends. We know that Grace did a lot of exploring, right? I mean, she pretended to be a pirate. She pretended to be a spider, a doctor. She explored all kinds of different adventures, right? So to explore is to learn about something, to really, really learn about something. So to explore, I found this picture. I thought this was a perfect picture for exploring. She's taking a closer look to learn about something with her magnifying glass. So exploring is learning about something. All right, let's see here. What about, companion. Grace had a companion in our story, a cat. What's a companion? A companion is a person or a friend or an animal, somebody that you like to spend time with. Maybe it's your best buddy. Maybe it's your favorite stuffed animal, your companion. Somebody you like to spend time with, okay? Companion. Here's another one. How about ballet? We know that Grace's Nana took her to the ballet, right? Ballet is a type of dancing performed on stage, and usually they wear really special, fancy outfits. Here are some ballerinas in their fancy tutus and leotards. Look how high they jump, friends. So ballet is a special type of dancing performed on stage. And finally, imagine. Imagine. Grace did a lot of imagining, didn't she? She imagined, she thought, or she created something in her brain. She would think up an idea and she would do it. She used her imagination. Now, imagination is another one that's kind of tricky to find a picture of. So I found a picture that looks like this. And all of these colors and swirls, those are all of Grace's imagination. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever used your imagination to think up something and to try something? Maybe a new way to play, maybe a new game, maybe you created something, an art. I know that Jacob has been making lots of things out of cardboard, Charlotte too. So that's using your imagination. We already talked about maybe a memory. Maybe you'd like to share a memory. Maybe you'd like to draw a picture of something special and send it to Miss Julie to see a special memory that you have. Or tell moms and dads and they can tell Miss Julie. Exploring, we know that Aqua Friends love to explore and go on adventures for sure. Some of you might even take ballet classes. So these are all words that are in our story that help us to understand it a little bit better. All right. I hope you enjoyed Amazing Grace today, and we'll look at it again more closely on Friday. Have a good day.